What is up, everyone? My name is Jack Sapple, back again with another video, and today I'm here with my AEW Double or Nothing review. Wow, just wow, man. I gotta say, going into this, I was really hoping that All Elite Wrestling would just put on a great show and really shake up the wrestling world, and I'm gonna have to say they mission accomplished for everyone involved in All Elite Wrestling. Like, this was just such a fucking great show. So yeah, we might as well talk about the kickoff show that they had. I think it was called the Buy-In, their kickoff show. So they had sort of like a 21-man casino battle royal, and it was sort of like a Royal Rumble, but not really. Like, people just started running in like whenever. It was very weird. But it was won by Adam Page. The winner of that match would receive a future AEW World Title match against either Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega. So yeah, Adam Page won that match. MJF, who is a fantastic heel, by the way. We'll talk about him when we talk about the main show. But he was the last person eliminated in this. He kind of snuck under the ring, and while everyone thought he had won the match, MJF kind of ran in. But unfortunately, Adam Page was too smart and eliminated him. And then after that, we had Kip Sabian beating Sammy Guevara. So I didn't see that match. I was having breakfast at the time, so yeah, I kind of missed out on that one, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll just talk about the actual show. The stage was kind of cool. I kind of liked the two entrances. Kind of reminds me of the Impact Zone when they had the big circle when the wrestlers would enter into the arena. I thought that was kind of cool. So we kicked off the show with SoCal Uncensored taking on Strong Hearts, which was from the Chinese wrestling company that SEMA runs. It was him, T-Hawk, and Al Lindemann. And on SoCal Uncensored, of course, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. And I got to say, this was a good, fast-paced opener. I thought both teams worked very well with each other here, and the crowd was hot throughout the match. And I really think that SCU could be a great heel tandem for AEW. If you haven't seen Being the Elite, they're on that show quite regularly. But yeah, I just thought this was a good way to open up the show. The Strong Hearts team were very entertaining to see. Like, Seema's great, and T-Hawk and L. Lindemann. They could be a great babyface team as well for AEW. So yeah, strong start to the show in my opinion. And after that, we had a triple threat match. It was Kylie Ray, Smiley Kylie Ray, Nyla Rose, and Britt Baker. But before the match actually begins, Brandy Rhodes comes out before and says, you know what, I just don't want this match to be great. I want it to be awesome. And she was wearing her wrestling gear, so people were like, is she going to put herself in the match? But it ends up being Awesome Kong. If you didn't watch TNA back in the day, she just ran roughshod in that company. She was one of the big stars of the Knockouts division back then. And she was in WWE for a little bit as Karma. Some of you might remember her, some of you may not. She was in there very, very briefly. But I got to say, this was a really good Fatal 4-Way women's match. Nyla and Kong stare each other down. I reckon those two need to have a good match in the future. That could be really awesome. And I thought this was a really solid match, and you know, everyone had their chance to shine and kind of show off their personality in the ring. There were a couple of hard-hitting spots in there, like Nyla Rose getting superplexed by Britt and Kylie, while Kong slammed the two other women as well. And then Kylie reverses a powerbomb with sunset pin, but then Britt breaks it up. Britt and Kylie then super kick her, then Nyla then spears Awesome Kong into the steel steps. And then how it all ended, there was a big super kick and a weird like Ushigoroshi thing on Kylie Ray for Britt Baker to get the win. So I'm not sure if this is going to lead to maybe a feud to set up an AEW Women's Championship match, because surely they're going to have a women's title, because Brandy Rhodes had been building up for the months when All Elite Wrestling was just getting started. She was all like, oh yeah, the women's division's going to be strong and it's going to be, you know, very great. And yeah, our women's championship is definitely what it needs. So yeah, a really solid match. I think if they are going to give it to someone first, I reckon it will either be Britt Baker or Awesome Kong, one of those two. But yeah, nothing to complain here. I'm very excited for what the women are going to do on AEW. So after that, we have a tag team match. It is the best friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, I believe, taking on the team of Angelico and Jack Evans. If you're familiar with Lucha Underground, you should know who they are. And Trent and Chuck have been wrestling in New Japan for a little while. So I knew who all the guys in this match were. And it was actually quite good. I actually thought it was really good. And I'm really excited for their tag division because the Young Bucks stated that they really want to make this tag team division really, really strong, which is definitely something that we need because you look at WWE's tag team division right now, it's a fucking joke. So hopefully they can see what they're doing in WWE and going, yeah, let's just not do what they're doing. So yeah, I thought this was a really good match. There were some great spots throughout, like Evans getting thrown into Angelico into the corner, and there was a crucifix crusher combination by the best friends, and Jack Evans hit a moonsault off Angelico, who was on Trent's shoulders, onto the outside, which was really cool. And there was a stomp cruncher combinations for the best friends to win. And then after the match, the two teams kind of hug it out, after having a good match. But then the lights go out, and it's revealed to be Player Uno and Stupefied, the Super Smash Bros, who I had to actually look up who they were, wasn't really familiar with who they were. And then the lights go out again, they come back out, and there's like 10 to 12 weirdos in fucking masks beating the shit out of the two teams who were wrestling before, and they make it their own little throne for Player Uno to kind of sit on. So, yeah, we already got some pretty stellar teams right now. We've got the best friends. We have Angelico and Jack Evans, Super Smash Bros, and of course Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. So yeah, the tag team division's looking really good at the moment. So I'm very excited to see what they do. Can't wait to see what kind of tag team title matches we're in for. It should be really awesome. And now we get to the six-woman tag team match. It was Rio Abe, Ryu Mizunami, and Hikaru Shida taking on Yuka Sakazaki, Emi Sakura, who was dressed as Freddie Mercury, which I really like, and Aja Kong, who is a legend in Japanese women's wrestling. And I gotta say, this match was fucking really good. This was a great fucking match. So fun, man. And it was just crazy from the opening bell. Aja Kong is just so powerful. She has such an imposing figure to her. It's so awesome. And, there were a few awkward moments throughout the match, just a little bit with the ref waiting for Sakazaki to break the pin and the bell ringing after a 2 count. I think it was like, yeah, Sakura getting a pin, but then only a 2 count, even though the bell rings, which was pretty weird. But it didn't take too much from the match, thankfully, because Hikaru Shida gets a running knee on Sakura to win the match. And yeah, this was just some great Joshi wrestling. The women's wrestling in Japan is really starting to boom a little bit here with companies like Stardom and all the other companies. So yeah, this was just a really fun match to see, and I hope we get more of this in AEW. I'd like to see what the Japanese women can do in this company. So yeah, fantastic match. But to me, the match of the night, hands down, was Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes. This was so goddamn good. The storytelling in this match was absolutely superb. So there's a throne on the stage that looks a lot like the one Triple H sat on at WrestleMania 22. And in this really cheesy but kind of cool moment, Brandy Rhodes is at ringside and she's holding a sledgehammer. Cody takes the sledgehammer and just destroys the throne on stage, and the crowd fucking loses it. One of the biggest pops of the night. And if the crowd kind of was like, to this moment, it would have been like a very lame moment. But the crowd really added to it, and just they went fucking nuts for it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And Cody Rhodes does like a little cartwheel and then does the Stardust pose, which is another shot to WWE. So many shots being fired to WWE. And Dustin hits a flipping senton off the apron, and then he sets up Cody for a middle rope kick in the nuts that he used to do as in the Goldust gimmick. But then Cody exposes the middle turnbuckle post, and then he realizes what Cody had just done. But anyway, he throws Dustin into the exposed turnbuckle, and that causes Dustin Rhodes to just absolutely bleed out. Oh my God, there was so much blood coming from his head. Just an absolute crazy just blade job from his part. Or he actually just hit his head on the turnbuckle post. Either way, my God, it was gruesome. He like at one point he just took the Cody Rhodes just took the blood from Dustin and just wiped it on his chest like a real douchebag heel. And Brandy spears Dustin outside and gets ejected from ringside, and even DDP comes out to carry her out of the arena, which I thought was nice to see. Cody locked in the figure four, and then there was a really weird spot where Dustin had Cody up on the top turnbuckle, exposes his ass, and then whips him with his own belt, which I kind of thought was funny. And then Dustin does this really like big scary superplex. Like something was off about it, and I was really happy. Like nothing serious happened from this. And Crash Rhodes, which I think is his move, then by Dustin, but then Cody kicks out. A low blow, disaster kick, and Crossroads, but Dustin kicks out of that. Um, and then the two kind of exchange strikes for a bit. And then Cody hits the Crossroads again, but then he breaks up the pin only to do it again to win the match. Now, I kind of wanted Dustin to win the match because I'm a sucker for the babyface good feeling moment, but it didn't really take away from the match at all because I thought it was absolutely excellent. This was hands down my match of the night. But afterwards, Cody grabs the microphone and says, "You know what? I when I signed the papers for Fight for the Fallen, I made a match of me against the Young Bucks, and I needed to pick a partner, and I didn't want a partner or a friend. I needed a brother." And he just starts choking up on the microphone. The two hug it out inside the ring and help each other to the back, which kind of got me emotional a little bit. It was just a really beautiful moment. I thought the storytelling was just absolutely fantastic. The in-ring action was very good. Like, it was a war, man. Just a fucking war between two brothers, and all that. Just, yeah, an amazing match. If you're gonna watch one match on this show, it should be that. Honestly, just watch the whole show, really. But if you have to pick one, if you're short on time, watch Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes. You will not be disappointed. And after that, we have comedian Jake Whitehall introduce the Bret the Hitman Hart to reveal the AEW Championship. He introduces Hangman Page, who had won the Battle Royal on the buyout, or the buy-in, whatever the fuck. But before he can even speak, MJF comes out and gets major heat from the crowd. And he even mocks Bret Hart's moment at the Hall of Fame when he got tackled by a fan. He was like, "Oh, look out, the fan's coming to get you." And just MJF, I really hope they treat this guy well because he is an amazing heel. He cut a great heel promo. And he calls, "Oh, Adam, you kind of refer to yourself as a horse. Well, you know what happens to horses with a bad knee? They get put down," because Adam Page was selling his bad knee throughout the match earlier on. And so MJF, he's still talking shit until Jungle Boy, who he threw out in the match, comes up to him. And he just kind of just walks past him until Jimmy Havoc comes out, who was also in the match, and the three guys just beat him up for a bit, and then MJF kind of just runs off into the crowd, which I thought was a fun moment. And then we get to the AAA Tag Team Championship match. It was the Young Bucks defending against the Lucha Brothers, and it was just absolutely insane spots all over the place, consistently entertaining. It was an awesome tag team match between two of the best teams in the entire wrestling world, honestly. Probably the two best teams in wrestling that aren't signed to the WWE, honestly. So, yeah, this was just full-on craziness throughout. Matt hit like a facebuster in Phoenix, and then hit a moonsault off the apron. There was a bulldog lariat combo by Nick. I'm sorry if I got the two Young Bucks mixed up. There was a sunset flip sharpshooter both men simultaneously, a 450 splash to Phoenix while he was kind of hung up on the ropes, and a powerbomb Shiryu combo on Phoenix. I completely butchered the name of that move. And then Penta and Matt, I don't know if this was a big spot, but they both kicked each other at the same time on the apron, and I could just hear the impact, which was just fantastic. And without a doubt, in my opinion, the spot of the night, Penta hits a flip pile driver on the apron, which, holy shit, I kind of like jumped out of my chair a little bit. It was fucking crazy. And then Phoenix hits a reverse Conrana DDT thingy on Matt that he kicks out. A package pile driver senton combo by the Lucha Bros, which looked great. Oh no, maybe this was spot of the night. A spin out brainbuster on the top rope. Kind of reminds me of the spot El Generico, aka Sami Zayn, used to do like 10 years ago. It was an amazing spot. And then the package pile driver stomp combo on Penta and Matt moonsault to the outside. Penta snaps the arm of Matt Jackson, but how it all ended was, even with a hurt arm, they managed to hit the Meltzer driver on Phoenix to retain the AAA Tag Team Championships in just an incredible, crazy-ass match. It was a fantastic tag team showing. I know a lot of people don't really like the Young Bucks style, as it's too spot-ridden and they do too many super kicks and all that stuff, and I completely get it, but you know what? I was entertained by this match. I saw a lot of crazy shit, saw a lot of nut spots. I can't really complain about this stuff. So yeah, the AAA Tag Team Championship match was fucking great in my opinion. And then we get to the main event match. It was Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. It's a rematch from their Wrestle Kingdom 12 match last year. So during Chris Jericho's entrance, they go through the different incarnations of Jericho. There's like the Lionheart Jericho, the You Just Made the List era of Jericho, and even the one with the light up jacket. I'm surprised they didn't do the character he did like in 2008 when he was calling people like parasites and hypocrites, which was just a great era of Jericho. And yeah, so this was also a really fucking good match. I wouldn't say it's as good as their Wrestle Kingdom match, but still, this was a really fucking good main event. So Omega goes for like a Honda runner, but then Jericho turns it into the walls. He even pushes him off of the barricade, and Omega then lands into the audience. And kind of like what they did at Wrestle Kingdom 12, Chris Jericho grabs the camera and tries to mock Kenny Omega with it, but then Kenny gets someone's water and just spits it right in Jericho's face. And I don't know what happened, but then Kenny Omega's nose started bleeding, and he hit an outside dive onto Jericho, but Jericho uses a table as a shield, which Omega kind of saw at first, but then he did it again anyway and got hit with it, so that wasn't really smart of him. But then Omega hits a springboard stomp with the table on top of Jericho, similar to what he did at Wrestle Kingdom. So I like how they called back to several spots in their previous match. I thought that was nice. I like when feuds kind of do that. But like not completely copy what they did beforehand. So I'm happy that they did that. Jericho gets out of the one-winged angel and hits the lion salt on Omega's head, which was I think was a botch. Definitely, he wasn't meant to do it. But then he hits it again and hits it properly. There was a backdrop over the ropes, which sent Kenny through the table. Jericho then catches Omega in midair with a co-breaker later on in the match, but then Kenny kicks out at 2. There was a Tiger Driver, but then Chris kicks out of that. And there was a V-Trigger, one-winged angel, which was, before he can hit it, was reversed into a really ugly-looking DDT. Even JR on commentator was like, that's the ugliest DDT I've ever seen. But how this match ends is Chris Jericho hits his new finisher, I think. I'm not sure if he did it at Wrestle Kingdom this year against Naito. But he hits the Judas effect, which is just like a spinning elbow right to Omega's face. I'm not really sure how I feel about that move. Maybe it can grow on me over time, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling the Judas effect at the moment. And that was brutal enough to get Jericho the win, which, you know, I'm glad Jericho got the win. It's, you know, Chris Jericho's obviously the biggest name in All Elite Wrestling that most of the people who aren't aware of WWE or anything else, they know the name Chris Jericho. So after the match, a really good match, I'll have to say. Jericho then grabs the microphone and, tells the crowd, shut up and lighten up, Marks, and all that stuff, which was great, and says how All Elite Wrestling is his company, and the reason everything looks fancy, the reason we have, good lighting and a good stage set and everything is because of him, and that he demands a thank you from everyone. But then, as he's speaking, someone is walking into the crowd and making his way into the arena, and it's Jon fucking Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose. He is actually in All Elite Wrestling. He runs to the ring and drops Chris Jericho with the dirty deeds. He then gets the referee and drops him with the dirty deeds. And then he goes and he's setting up to hit Kenny Omega with it, but then Kenny Omega blocks it, and they fight all over the arena, into the crowd for a little bit until they get up onto the stage, and they fight on the big set of giant poker chips that they put on the set, and he hits the dirty deeds right on it, and then throws him off, and he lands onto the outside, which was a crazy way to end off the show. I thought that was a fantastic surprise to see Jon Moxley there. I know we were kind of speculating, people were speculating if he was actually going to show up in All Elite Wrestling, as he had just left the WWE. But yeah, all I have to say was just what a surprise to see Jon Moxley in a different company. This is exactly what All Elite Wrestling needs to shake things up. So yeah, I'm very excited to see Jon Moxley in All Elite Wrestling. And yeah, overall, I'm just excited for AEW in general after seeing this show. So yeah, that was Double or Nothing. I thought the show was fucking great. I really, really enjoyed myself. Top-notch action. There was not a single match on the show that was bad by any means, in my opinion. I mean, we had some good matches to some fucking excellent matches. Match of the night to me, Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes. Spot of the night would probably have to be the move where Penta hit the flip pile driver on the apron. That was just fucking insane to me. How I'm going to rate the show, 8.5 out of 10. I thought the show is definitely worth your time. If you have enough time in the day and you haven't seen it, please check this show out. All Elite Wrestling is doing some absolute mad stuff, so make sure to check them out. Make sure to support them. But yeah, this is going to wrap things up for this review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to leave your thoughts on this pay-per-view in the comment section below. If you have seen it, give me your rating. What was your favorite match? What's some stuff you'd like to see All Elite Wrestling do in the future? Tell me in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys soon. And I am out in 3, 2, 1.